Every single morning at schools across the state of Alabama, millions of parents make the exact same handoff. State lawmakers have established a very strong role for families in directing their child's education. But parent rights is a broad and often misunderstood umbrella term. Having empowerment on paper does not mean you get immediate, frictionless outcomes in the classroom. This decision tree maps out the system. To exercise rights, parental authority must navigate school, state, and federal boundaries. Path 1 covers alternative education funding, like the CHOOSE Act. Path 2 handles special needs accommodations. Path 3 deals with general education, privacy, and discipline. Because education law is highly fragmented, identifying which specific legal profile fits your family is the only way to turn an abstract right into an actionable strategy. Let's look at the first path. The CHOOSE Act is Alabama's Education Savings Account program, and it is fully active for the 2026 to 2027 school year. It provides eligible families with funding that covers approved educational expenses. That includes private school tuition, specialized tutoring, and educational therapies. This scorecard lays out the criteria for evaluating this option, starting with what the state requires. As a parent, you must strictly adhere to eligibility rules and verify that your providers are state-approved. If you put in the work, the expected outcome is unlocking funds to build a customized, non-traditional schooling environment. At the bottom is the trade-off. Ultimate flexibility means taking on the burden of managing the logistics yourself. Utilizing this act requires giving up the plug-and-play convenience of the traditional public school system. Your ability to participate depends entirely on tracking program rules, deadlines, and renewal cycles carefully. The CHOOSE Act is highly effective, but only for families willing to shift from passive observers to active project managers of their child's educational budget. If your child has a disability, you move to the area of Alabama law where parent rights are the most clearly and strictly formalized. The central mechanism for securing these disability-related services is the Individualized Education Program, or IEP. This special education scorecard shows exactly what is required to navigate the IEP process. The required input is rigorous. You have to monitor statutory timelines, review complex evaluations, and provide written consent at multiple stages. The expected outcome of meeting those standards is a legally binding service plan tailored entirely to your student's specific needs. The trade-off is that highly protected access comes at the cost of acting like a part-time paralegal. If a disagreement comes up over a proposed placement or a service change, you have to be prepared to navigate formal dispute resolution options. Securing special education rights demands trading significant personal time and meticulous documentation for highly protected educational access. For parents navigating the general education system, the balance of power between home and school is tested on a daily basis. You have a right to your child's information, but privacy rules complicate that access. That happens particularly as students age, when records involve other students, or during a custody dispute. You also have to weigh your rights against the school's operational authority. Alabama schools retain strict legal control over discipline rules, attendance, and safety standards. State policy does respond to parent concerns, like the 2026 early childhood screen time limits, but these rules do not remove the school's daily authority. This third scorecard maps out how to navigate general education disputes and secure information. Your required input involves providing proper legal documentation, like custody agreements, and formally requesting policies in writing to establish a record. The expected outcome is maximum transparency regarding your child, but the trade-off is that transparency does not equate to veto power over administrative decisions. General parent rights guarantee you a voice and visibility in your child's education, but they do not override the school's lawful authority. Alabama parent rights in 2026 are robust, but they are strictly bounded by administrative realities and state requirements. This matrix builds the 2026 Parent Action Plan. For the CHOOSE Act alternative seeker, the strategy is managing funding rules and deadlines. For the special education advocate, focus on tracking statutory timelines and securing plain language IEP documentation. And for the system navigator, the best approach is requesting written policies and maintaining documented communication. Across all three profiles, there is one universal strategy: build a meticulous paper trail. keep copies of all notices, report cards, and emails. In a complex educational landscape, having rights is only the starting line. The most empowered parent is the most administratively organized parent.